Hello guys, it is me, Dirtmum, here back for chapter 20 of the Golden Armor. Let's get into it. The Golden Armor, chapter 20. Quality time. To Valerie, time seemed to have little meaning in Candlelit Castle, particularly when she was with Comet and Angel. While she was sent to Equestria as punishment, it felt more like a vacation. Days of repetitively guarding the Princess Prize Phoenix, Philomena just blurred together. It wasn't a job, it was fun. Angel made everything lively and entertaining, putting all her effort into making every other happy. Comet, who had considerably warmed up to her, tried to maintain a stoic and cool demeanor while around them, which often saved the day when a superior officer came around. Still, life wasn't all about work. Free time for the guards meant hangout time for the trio, often going down into town together, playing cards and board games, playing with Philomena, or just a day of sleeping. As time passed, the other guards took notice of this trio and often made snide comments behind their back, particularly about Comet. See that guy with the Griffin and the bat pony? Can't keep his fetishes private, huh? It was a popular backbiting remark. Being a Griffin used to cool remarks, Valerie had easily shrugged off any comment made about them. Of course, the other guards were jealous of Comet as who got to hang out with a beautiful bat pony and a voluptuous Griffin like every other day. However, Angel often had a hard time dealing with the bat pony remarks she got, particularly those about foals. Comet merely shrugged off rumors, opting for his trademark silent mood, but secretly he did get upset about them, especially when one rumor went around that the only reason he was around Angel and Valerie is because he couldn't satisfy a regular pony mare. That rumor quickly got quelled by Valerie, saying if he could keep her happy, then he was four times better than the average pony. Still, rumors eventually faded, and life just kept moving onward. Soon, the warm sun began to set earlier, and the temperature began to drop. Talk about the big event of the year. The Grand Gallop and Gala began to circulate in the castle around the same time. Almost every pony, including Angel, was bubbling over with excitement. For days, Angel went on about how it was the biggest party of the year, how she would polish her armor for the event, and who she would meet. Comet just kept on being a guard, quiet and stony, but offered insight to Valerie since she had never heard of the event. As the weeks passed, Angel slowly became more of the night guard than the regular guard. She was soon sent out more often on escort assignments, posted at stations that lasted later into the night, and pretty soon, she was even taking off Philomena guard duty, leaving just Comet and Valerie to watch the temperamental Phoenix. In her personal opinion, Valerie absolutely loved spending time with Comet alone. Many conversations were had to pass time, often about how Griffins differed from pony culture. So yeah, Valerie said nonchalantly, most Griffins aren't considered adults until then. Comet shifted uncomfortably as he contemplated what Valerie had told them. Apparently, Griffins were a very barbaric group if they needed to fight a manticore to become a full adult. Comet couldn't imagine having to wrestle a manticore, much less hope to win, to simply become an adult in the culture. Well, Comet began unsurely. Most stallions here are considered adults when they get a job. Valerie chuckled at that and smiled. Oh yeah, it's also different for a Griffin like me to become an adult too. What do you mean by that? Comet asked. Well, for a Griffin, she began. No, I mean, weren't you just talking about how Griffins became adults? Valerie tilted her head quizzically and said, well, what do you mean? You said that's how Griffins become adults. Aren't you a Griffin too? Comet inquired, scrunching his face up. Of course I'm a Griffin, Valerie worded slowly. Comet gave a frustrated groan and turned away, upset at the lack of communication. Valerie shook her head in confusion, but Comet tried one last time. You said Griffins had to wrestle a manticore to become an adult. But then you said Griffins like you became adults another way. Aren't you a Griffin? Comet asked, hoping that what he said would make sense. Upon hearing that, Valerie's mind clicked into place and she chuckled. Oh, I get it. Yeah. I'm a griffin, but not that kind, you see. Male griffins wrestle manticores. Female griffins like me become adults another way. How's that? Comet inquired. Valerie shot him a seductive look and cooed. We mate. Comet's eyes shrank at that. The griffin busted out laughing and said, No, no, us females become adults when we reach the age inside to marry young griffins. Oh, that's good? He replied in a confused tone. The rest of the day was spent avoiding another such conversation, centering mostly around what griffin society was. According to Valerie, male griffins were drafted into the military once they had proven themselves adults, and spent the next 6 years guarding against Wyvern and Ursa attacks, patrolling the borders of the Griffin Kingdom, or quelling worker uprisings. The king of the Griffins, Lord Bladebeak, ruled with an iron talon, commanding respect among the Griffins and even being rumored to have intimidated Princess Celestia during a border dispute with the when the Crystal Empire returned. Good lord. Comet found it fascinating to hear about another society not dominated by mares, but admitted to himself that he couldn't thrive in such a place. At least not at first. The day passed quickly, and as the sun set, so did the temperature. It would start snowing soon in the rec room. For guards, a magical fire had been lit. It produced heat, but required no wood and gave off no smoke. Valerie marveled at the fire since griffins forsook magic a long time ago, in favor of the Code of Honor. Griffido, which didn't allow for the trickery of magic, another tidbit she told Comet while examining the fire. After dinner of roasted oats and peeled carrots, Comet sat contentedly on a couch positioned near the fire. The other guard ponies had all gone off to bed, and the room was silent. He hoped to see Angel at some point tonight, but it was quickly becoming apparent to Comet that his bat pony wasn't going to be able to make it. He sighed heavily, wondering what she was doing, when a voice broke the silence. Hey, Comet, came a familiar voice. He spun his head around and saw a very timid-looking set of gold eyes staring at him along with a glowing plume of white feathers. Oh, hey, Valerie, he replied. Thought you'd be asleep. It's too cold in the bunk room, so I got up to get myself warm, she explained. What are you here for? Well, Comet stated unsurely. I was here to meet Angel, but she's probably not coming. A tense silence permeated the room as Valerie's gaze dropped to the floor, and Comet watched her. Of course, he knew she liked him, especially after that kiss they shared. He was wary of her, mostly because he was committed to Angel, but a small part of him wanted her to sit by him, without even realizing it. He was saying it. He asked, Hey, you want to come join me? Valerie's head perked up, and her beak kind of moved to the side, but she slowly started to walk over to him. Suddenly, very nervous, Comet scooted over to make room for Valerie, and she climbed up the seat next to him. She sighed contentedly at the warmth that greeted her claws and paws, causing Comet to give a smile. God damn it. The two sat there in peaceful silence, just enjoying the fire, when Comet noticed Valerie was shivering slightly. You okay? He asked. I'm fine. It's just a small breeze. Valerie responded with a smile. Oh, Comet replied. Here, switch seats with me. There's no breeze over here. Valerie protested at first, but another cold breeze washed over her, and she reluctantly moved. When she took Comet's seat, she noticed how warm it was, and thanked him for it. The orange Pegasus smiled gently, and the two sat there in silence again. Nervous, but hoping to get somewhere with him, Valerie slowly moved over to him. When she was close enough, she could feel the heat radiating from him inside. He would be a good pony to snuggle up with on a cold day. Comet noticed her sigh and passed a quick glance over to her. The griffin yawned widely, and Comet extended a wing over her, wrapping it around her. Valerie flinched at the initial touch, but stopped herself and enjoyed just being next to him. Soon she had fallen asleep on the couch, leaning against Comet and dreaming about a warm color orange. Comet stayed awake as long as he could, trying to keep her comfortable before eventually falling asleep, himself in her light and airy feathers. Okay, guys, that was chapter 20 of The Golden Armor. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good one.